Nation of Fit and 10, it is day 29, and I just sent off your numbers to you. A reminder to you to send in your feedback to me. Another reminder to you that it's very important, if you want to see change, considerable change in your fat mass, scan to scan, that you measure your food and that you log it accurately daily. When I say log it accurately, that we get the closest estimate that we can to the food that we ingested. Okay? Now, obviously, when I say estimate, everything in there is to a certain degree an estimation. There's always going to be some variation in food. So what I mean is you measure accurately and you find the entry that best represents that, and then we enter it in. Now, I'm not going to speak to anybody who is struggling in the challenge and has basically come to me and said, like, I'm just, this is really hard and I'm having a tough time logging. I'm not really measuring anything out. Okay, that's fine. We know where you stand. We know where the problem lies, etc. If you are somebody who has, written me or whatever, we've had a dialogue where you tell me you're following something 100%. And I'm going to tell you something. I've gone through this a number of times, right? Like I've been helping people with diet since I've been 19. I'm 42, 23 years. I've helped over 600 people in this challenge. I've been through this time and time again. When people tell me, and this goes for 99% of the time, when people tell me, because I hear it over and over again, when people tell me I follow it 100%, I follow it 100%. Well, I know, trust me, I know it's very, 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 very unlikely it was 100%. Very unlikely. When you tell me that, it means absolutely nothing to me, because the amount of people that tell me that, and then after some investigation, it's not 100%, it's not 90%, it's not 80%, I have no idea, because virtually there's no entries in the diary. Almost nothing. And this typically comes from people who are not sending me their diary entries. And obviously you're not going to send it to me if you're not doing them. But let's not have the back and forth of you're doing it 100%, you're logging everything, and then I look at your journal and then there's very little in there. Most days there's nothing in there. So why do we have to play this? Okay, let's just identify where the problem is and let's try to make that better. I'm not here to judge you. It's not a competition. It's not an ego thing. I'm just here to judge you. This is what I like doing. This is my wheelhouse. I just want to help you. That's it. Okay? So I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to get on your case. If you want help, I will help you. Just be honest with me. Be honest with yourself. Hopefully you're being honest with yourself. Just be honest. And just say, I'm not doing it. Okay, great. No problem. Let's figure it out. How can we make this better? That's it. But let's not waste the time going back and forth and back and forth. Okay? It's just stupid. Let's just be honest. Be honest with yourself and be honest with me. Okay. I got that little rant out of the way. Let's get into more of your feedback, okay? All right. Intermittent fasting. I talked about this yesterday. What are your thoughts? Yesterday was a bit of a crazy day for me, and when I shot the video, I didn't have my laptop with me. So anyways, the question was, intermittent fasting, what are your thoughts? I like to snack, and the only thing I can find to snack on, I guess they meant to say, to snack on, is popcorn. Is that bad for you or still okay? All right, well, you can snack on anything. You can eat whatever you want. Just make sure you measure it out and you put it in your log. Okay, so you can do that. So I don't know what your definition of snacking is. Maybe you mean you just munch on something throughout the day. Sure, popcorn's fine. Popcorn's actually very low calorie. Popcorn is surprisingly high in protein. Well, it's not a high protein food by any means, but it's, you know, for something that's not an animal source, it's higher in protein than you might expect. But I wouldn't consider it high protein. Anyways, popcorn, yes, fine, you can have it. Just make sure you are aware of the amount, because amounts matter, right? It's not enough to just make healthy choices or be conscientious of what you're eating. Those are great things. But those are not specifics in terms of energy intake. And your energy intake matters. I guess I'm not done my rant. Your energy intake matters when it comes to fat loss. Your overall energy intake matters when it comes to fat loss. Okay, let's always look at let's look at the top level and look at all the pillars and make sure you're doing those before we get into like the nitty gritty details. The nitty gritty details make a difference when we're trying to really fine tune something, or when we're trying to get, you know, that body fat down to a really low level. Anyways, back to intermittent fasting. As I mentioned yesterday, it depends on what you're looking to get out of it. If it's a good system for you for fat loss, go ahead, do it. I don't think it's a sustainable system. For some people, it does work. Great, do it. If it means that you end up eating less calories than you otherwise would. In terms of preserving muscle mass, in terms of building muscle mass, in terms of building bone density, in terms of helping you to build your strength, in terms of athletic performance, no, it's not a good way to go. I wouldn't do it. In terms of, like I mentioned yesterday, in terms of organ health, in terms of clearing of your gastrointestinal tract, I think it's awesome. And like I said, I've done it and I did find it very helpful, okay? But I would never suggest this as a way, that's not to say it won't work for you, but I would never suggest it as a way, as a long-term means for controlling your body weight. Okay, your body fat levels more specifically. Okay, popcorn's fine, so go ahead and have it, just make sure you know how much you're having. Everything you put in your mouth, make sure you know certainly obviously what it is and how much of it you're having, and log it. You don't know, you can't possibly say that you're following something 100% when you have no record of it. You have nothing to look back on. I mean, how do you even know if you're not logging it? I don't know. You have, maybe you know something I don't know. All right. Name something specific you can improve on for the following week. Get in all my cardio. I hate cardio, and I'm having a hard time doing it. I don't like running, but it seems to be the only thing that I can do to get my heart rate up. All right, so we're getting a few of these. Running is fine. Uphill running is maybe something that, for me, I would rather do. A little bit easier on the joints. But I typically like to, personally, I typically ride the bike or I do stair mill. Part of the reason I give you these intervals, by the way, is to shorten your time that you're doing the cardio. I don't mean just because I'm actually physically shortening the time, but the perception of the time. When you go through your intervals, you know, quite often you're like, oh, I don't really want to get to the next interval. And so, you know, you kind of want time to go by slower between. So this ends up, I find at least, and I know other people do, that it tends to make it go by faster. But you can do anything, like I said, to increase your heart rate. Okay, any activity. But obviously, if you're doing something that's going to be more resistance-based, that's requiring, so when I say more resistance-based, it's requiring more energy per unit of time in order for you to do it, right? So if you sprint, obviously it's going to require more energy. If you run upstairs, it's going to require more energy than walking upstairs, obviously. Any activity that you want to do, you can do. Martina's, generally speaking, Martina's online classes are a great way to go for this. They are less heavy resistance based, but there's still some resistance and they're much more voluminous. Your heart rate is getting higher. So it's more of a, it's certainly more geared towards cardiovascular. Now, if you're new to it, you're going to gain some strength, obviously, if you're not doing any kind of resistance based training. Okay. am I doing for time? Well, I'm already at 10 minutes. I guess ranting helps to make the time go by fast too. All right, so listen, this is the week. This is the week that you will not quit. This is the week that you will not quit. And the reason I say that is because history tends to dictate, this is not a lot of people, but every challenge we lose some people. Every challenge people tend to drop off. So I want to remind you that this is not the week that you're going to quit, nor will you quit in any other week. The only way that you're sure not to make any more progress is by quitting, of course. And anything of any great value, okay, anything of any great struggle takes time, it takes patience, and it takes fortitude, right? You want to keep working towards it. Keep working towards it. There's many things in my life, I will tell you right now, that I attempted to do, and I questioned myself, why didn't I do better in that? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's because I didn't keep up with it. That's why. Why didn't I keep progressing in that way? Oh yeah, it's because I didn't keep up with it. Or however you want it, we can use the term quit. Right? So, today's message is it's okay to want to quit. Totally fine. I'm totally fine with you wanting to quit. Just don't. Okay? It's okay to quit just so long as you don't. It's okay to want to quit, I should say. It's okay to want to quit just so long as you don't. Remember, the only way you will keep progressing, the only way you will stop progressing is if you quit. But I can assure you, if you keep trying, I can guarantee you if you keep trying, you will progress. You will get farther ahead in whatever endeavor you're doing. It's all mental. It's all just a mental game, right? Okay, positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for love of God, give some gratitude. If you're not logging your food, if you're not measuring out your food, I'm gonna highly encourage you to do it. If you don't, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, and I don't know how to help you other than just tell you to do that, okay? At least for the sake of this challenge. We'll talk to you guys all tomorrow. See you guys.